Now it's time for Desktop Discussions.
Hey folks, Sir Charles Carey here. How you doing? How you doing? I got a live one for you because people confuse me. I mean, literally people confuse me. I know that we are all that we have. And I also understand that, sometimes things are what they are and sometimes they simply are not. But a lot of times they're a combination, and it's crazy trying to figure out, where you stand or, how you're coming across. And for me, last week I was presenting at the National Training Institute. And in doing so, several days, I was presenting on topics on leadership, communication, which is personal and professional development, because it relates to the business side as well as the personal life side. And I'm not going to give names, but a couple of reviews I got were very challenging. And, it's always good to say, they love me and they wanted me to come back. And it's easy to say those things. But I want to share some of the questionable things and then explain why this topic is so relevant. And you'll find out that it's not just relevant in our personal lives, but it's obviously relevant in our business lives. And sometimes this is why things are just so daggone confusing. So yes, people confuse me for sure, for sure. As an instructor, as a keynote speaker, as a trainer, part of your job is to sort of control the environment, whatever space you're in. It doesn't matter if it's a small room, a moderate size, or a large room. You have a responsibility to control the tempo, the feel, the energy to a certain degree. And that's what I do. But even still, you just don't know what you don't know, right? So, again, I was speaking to different professionals, some IT, some administrative, some of varying degrees, managers, supervisors, government, right? And I want to read some of the reviews. Of course, I'm not going to give names, but then again, a lot of times you'll find, if you've ever done this work that I've done, and maybe even in general, people will give you a review, an evaluation, or their feedback, but they won't sign their names, especially if it's something that's, I guess, kind of negative or challenging. And sometimes, yeah, maybe they have forgotten. I don't think that is usually the case. I don't think people forget their own name, especially if a form or a set of documents request, not demand, request that they sign their name. So I remember on the app, one person said, I didn't learn anything. It was all about you, Sir Charles. And I was like, really? And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to read some of the reviews. And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I take the bitter with the sweet, although the bitter sometimes can be really challenging. But that was one of the replies. So my question to that person was, did you participate? Did you raise your hand? Did you engage? Because everyone else did, right? So one out of God knows how many hundreds of people I spoke with, who knows? So this is what some people said. One of the question was the presenter engaging? This is a different evaluation. Yes. Could have spent less time talking about his accomplishments and more meat and potatoes of transforming oneself. Excuse me. Maybe point trainers to a website where all info is found. And if they paid attention, they would realize that that actually was done. In addition to that being done, as a presenter, keynoter, trainer, whatever the position is, part of your job, especially if you want to help people, is to relate to people. So if you don't talk about yourself and you just come in talking about this is what you need to do, this is how you need to do it, this is where the information is, there are people that are related that can relate to that style. But most people want to know, how did you do it? Can you do it? Did you do it? When did you do it? What were your challenges in doing it and becoming it? And I think this person missed some of those points. But they also went on to say, I got some good nuggets out this presentation, exclamation point. And, it's like, huh? The presenter did a good job. You like certain aspects, like the way I presented my presentation, my slides, and you liked all these things, yet you wanted something different, but you got some great nuggets. Okay, that's a fair assessment. I mean, there are several people and several pages of information. One person said, "So is this the question was, is this topic applicable to your work?" Put my glasses on so I can see what I'm reading. They said, yes, as a supervisor, it is very relevant, but so it is also in everyday life. Okay, good. Was the presenter engaging? Yes, very good. Very good communicator, involved the audience and shared very inspiring information. So what was wrong with the other person? And what was wrong with the person that went online to say that it was all about Charles, right? Okay, I don't know. What did you take away from this? Many people don't know who they are. And this was on the presentation I did called What's So Hard About Being You? Another review a person shared with me, and then these all, I don't know if you can see it in their handwriting, so I'm not making up this stuff. I got several other sheets that I'm not going to share, but one of the questions from another participant was, what did you like about the presentation? They said, professionalism. I like the music. I like the movies, the engagement. It was thought-provoking and gave me the opportunity to lock in and look within. So as a presenter, you always want to present yourself, present your information in an engaging manner. Now, if I just stand up and speak to people, yeah, it's engaging. It can be, but it could also be very dry. So I sometimes use music. I use current events. I use movies. I use things that are trendy to relate to personal and professional development. And I found that this wins people over and they learn a lot more about it because they can relate immediately to the content because of what's going on in the world, and they can relate immediately to me because they see how I've experienced, how I've gone through these different for instances. Here's yet another presentation, right? Evaluation, excuse me. Just one of the highlights. Can't read everything. Who else do you know could benefit from this training? Bring this training to every organization and every agency. Another comment. Enjoy the presentation because it allowed me to truly access me. I can't always read everyone's handwriting so clearly. But the point is, what's so hard about being you? When I was speaking about this topic, it really made people think about how they are, who they are, and what they do as it relates to being themselves, what they do as it relates to their career or as it relates to their profession. And that's the point of it, because sometimes we do things that prevent ourselves from being able to move forward. And that's what these evaluations sort of indicate. Okay, so on this other set of evaluations, those were the people that did not sign their name, by the way. On this other set of evaluations, there were various responses as well. Was the presenter engaging? Yes, he engaged and started conversation with the group. Once again, what was wrong with the other people who did not see the opportunity to learn or engage more or to get more? They had the same opportunity, yet they may have not chosen it, and then they put a slightly, a little stain on the evaluation, even though they would not sign the evaluation. What else? This person said, the question was, who else do you know that can benefit from this training? Co-workers and family. So my point is, this doesn't just relate to business. This relates to everyday life. When you give an evaluation, you never know what people are going to say. You never know if they're going to sign the evaluation. You never know if you're going to get their contact information. Although on this set, I got their names. And you don't tell them what to say. So when people respond this way, it's clearly an indication that you're doing something right. Yes, people confuse me, but these are the bright spots or the bright moments that I can look at and say, wow, they get it. They understand. They have an interest or an appetite for more. Last question from this person. Would you like to learn other topics by this presenter? And they said, I would love to. Going to the next, or someone else. Same thing. Yes, they would like to learn more. Presenter was engaging. It's applicable to their work, right? So there's a common theme. And what I learned about presenting to certain industries is that you may go in, I like to go in and do an assessment of the location, an assessment of the employees, get a feel for what's going on, what that culture is like in that agency, in that department, that section. And what you find a lot of times, industry by industry or profession by profession, nationwide, this has been my personal experience, they are all experiencing the same thing. Whether it's morale, whether it's lack of opportunity, whether it's, something very positive, they love one another, they have a good, community, whatever the issue or whatever the upside is, in every industry, it's usually the same thing. When I was teaching law enforcement, the importance of customer service and professionalism, they all had the same issues nationwide, agency-wide, and it was a morale issue. Women weren't feeling that they were giving the opportunities that the men were getting, and some men and women alike were feeling like they were being shut down. So it's the same thing with corporate fortune companies, because after all, people are people. And this is why I say people confuse me. So in this evaluation, one of the questions again was, who else do you know that could benefit from this training? And they said it should be incorporated in the workplace training plans in each agency. So, when I say people confuse me, it's not that I don't have a reasonable comprehension level on understanding people, because I feel I understand people very well. The leaders, the non-leaders, the new hires, I understand people very well, but we are a complex group of living beings. And the upside, the downside, and the all in between, sometimes we're not sure what we want. We're not sure who we are, and we're definitely not sure of how we're showing up in many cases. So, I just wanted to read some of these evaluations, and I may do it again from another perspective. I wanted to read them to let you know how things went, how people feel, how they responded, how to react, and just give you a heads up. Because again, I start every presentation with a request. I ask the audience, can I be transparent? Because I think it's important that I tell them who I am, whose I am, what I am, what I'm doing, and I drag them into my talk, whether it's a training, even when it's a keynote. I think when you're open, honest, clear, and direct, that, moves away any barriers that prevent people from really getting an opportunity of learning and seeing who they are. Now, I'd love to get your feedback. I know everyone has different perspectives and different views, but if you disagree with me, if you've experienced the same thing, if you have a question, please post your question, ask your question. I'd love to share your feedback openly because, there's no hidden agendas here. The only way to learn is to be open, again, honest, clear, and direct, and to engage one another, to hear things from another viewpoint. When you only hear one viewpoint, it's kind of different and difficult to say that, oh, you get it or you understand. You have to look outside of yourself sometimes. That's why I say the right mindset is all you need. And again, the talk that I was presenting on was based on my book, What's So Hard About Being You? And the other one was Radiate the Brain and Change the Game. And if you're interested in any of these materials, you can go and get them here. What can I say? People seem to really like this material. I'm grateful. I'm honored. It's an interactive book. All of my books are interactive, but I'm supposed to be writing a new book, y'all. I've been trying to write this book for 2 years, but I've been doing so many other things I haven't gotten around to it. But look, just check it out. Let me know what your perspective is. And, sometimes you may differ in opinion, and that's fine. I welcome your feedback. With that being said, until next time, thanks for joining me on Desktop Discussions. And let me see if there's any feedback before I go. Okay, hold on. There is a comment. Yes, Sheila, good to see you. Thanks for jumping on. Yes, she says that's correct. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. But again, folks, share your thoughts, share your comments. There's a site right there. You can go there just to get a little more insight if you'd like to do that. I'd encourage you to check it out. All the materials, the books, the DVDs, whatever it may be. And again, tell me what you think. Give me some reason to, fire back with something that's concrete and helpful. If you want to learn more about me, go to sircharlescareyinc.com. I enjoy doing what I do. I know I'm not on these lives consistently. I try to do it when there's a really concrete message, and I had got to start getting a time slot. I know I got to get a time slot because a lot of people tell me they like the information, and I'm going to start doing that. I just have to sort of get some stuff out the way so I can make sure every day I'm consistent. So with that being said, once again, until the next time, remember, you got to radiate the brain and change